She went upstairs, and I heard her voice drifting down, soft, secretive, talking to Sammy on the phone. At the same time, I saw her send Randall another message, asking if he'd gotten the last one. It turned my stomach. When I didn't follow her to the bedroom, she came searching, but I feigned sleep on the couch. In the weeks that followed, I pulled myself together. It became a performance. Me, the dutiful husband. I played the part so well, I almost believed it myself. We kept up appearances, even shared regular intimacy. Whether Erica enjoyed it, I couldn't tell. I know I didn't. I stopped caring, stopped looking at her like she was someone I loved. Instead, I saw her as a body I had access to. Familiar. Convenient. Our moments together grew colder, less about connection, more about control. But oddly, they also became bolder. Erica had always been cautious in bed. Yet after her conference, racked with guilt, desperate to keep me close, she rarely turned me down. As the next conference approached, I studied her every move. Watched for signs she'd reached out to Randall. I combed through her phone records online. No calls from Boston, but messages, several, sent to his number. She spiraled when he didn't answer. Tried mutual friends, who said he acted like he didn't even remember her. But I knew better. He remembered. He was just terrified. He knew if he replied, I'd either destroy him, or worse, expose him and blow up his marriage. So, it's over, she said, smiling faintly. How do I know? I asked. 5 years ago, you told him your love would last until one of you died, I said. That wasn't long ago. And now he's vanished. Maybe you meant every word. You loved him so much you wanted Sammy to name my grandson after him, risking our entire marriage. Don't tell me I'm the one who chose to hurt you. But John, how were you hurt? She asked. This spanned 2 decades. You and I were together over 2,000 times, and I cherished every single one. With Randall, it was 8 times, maybe, and they were awful. If I'd ever loved him more than you, I'd understand your pain. But that never happened. If I'd given you anything less than my whole self, if I'd humiliated you, I'd understand. But I didn't. I loved you. All of me did. It was once a year. Far away. No one knew us. No shame followed you home. Even the year you confronted Randy, we'd already agreed at dinner it was over. Just conversation after that. It would have faded on its own. I wasn't planning to see him like that again. When I said it was better without guilt, that's what I meant. I was preparing to let him go, quietly, without drama. The following year, I wouldn't have met him at all. I would have changed my number. Ended it clean. No one would have ever known. It would have been like those car shows you go to, when the models pose in your Mustang. Just a fleeting memory. But instead, in our later years, you lashed out at a man who meant no harm. John, Randall was never a threat to us, only to your pride. I wanted to name our grandson after him not out of love, but to honor someone who once mattered. A single tear slid down Erica's cheek. I clapped, slow, mocking. Bravo, Erica. You've rehearsed this, haven't you? Probably polished it up while we were apart. Sammy, go ahead. Name the boy Randall James if that's what your mother wants. Randall James Dillon would really make her day. Sammy just stared at me, stunned. Dad, we're naming him Marshall. After Darren's grandfather. Marshall Dillon, that's his name. I'm not naming my son after that man, no matter what Mom says. Well, at least now you understand, Erica whispered. I wish you did, I replied. It hurt because I loved you more than anyone. Too much to ever share you. It hurt because, despite your justifications, when a married woman lies with another man, she's rejecting everything her marriage stands for. Some people say one mistake isn't enough to end a marriage. I disagree. And this wasn't a mistake. It was years. Years of deception. You lied. You misled me. You shattered what we built. And still, I can't fully trust you. I still follow up, check that you are where you say you'll be. You cracked something deep inside us, and the damage still unfolds. Tell me, Erica, how long have I had the Mustang I drive now? She blinked, unsure. What's special about it? I asked. It has more horsepower, she offered weakly. Anything else? I pressed. She looked lost. You've never been in it, I said coldly. I've had that car nearly 4 years, and not once have you sat in the passenger seat. When we go out, it's always your car or the SUV. I don't trust you, and I don't want you in my car, just like I don't want you in my heart. Erica broke down. What can I do to fix this? It's been 5 years, John. Isn't that long enough? Let's be fair, I said evenly. What if I started seeing someone too, once a year, for the next 20 or 30 years? John, I wouldn't like that, she said sharply. Two wrongs don't make a right. I didn't think you would, Erica, I said calmly. There's a card on the table with my lawyer's number. Give it to your next boyfriend. Try to find someone soon, so this doesn't drag out longer than it has to. John, I don't want a divorce, she sobbed. It's been 5 years. Sammy, get her out of here before I do something I'll regret. Sammy took her hand and led her out quietly. In the days that followed, Erica tried everything to reach me. Calls, messages, showing up unannounced. Most of the time, Sammy and Darren acted as go-betweens, because I refused to speak with her directly. I told her she'd already had her chance to talk. I meant it. What none of us realized, though, was how much her staying with Sammy and Darren was straining their marriage. Erica cried often, leaned hard on Sammy, and Sammy, always the loyal daughter, tried to hold her together. But after weeks of it, the cracks started to show. Sammy finally mentioned the toll it was taking. At a dinner we shared, I tried to clear the air. Even though your mom and I are separating, that doesn't change my relationship with you too, I said. I'll still visit. We'll still spend time together. No one has to pick sides. Dad, is there really no way you and Mom can fix this? Sammy asked softly. I don't think so, I replied. But she loves you, she pressed. She didn't do it often, and it wasn't with anyone you knew. You even confronted that guy. I mean, less than once a year. Can't you just? That's enough, Darren cut in, sharp and unexpected. Usually quiet, he spoke with an edge this time. What if it was me, he asked. What if I hooked up with my secretary every so often? Not daily, maybe once a month. Would that hurt less if you found out when we were 50? Would it be easier to forgive just because it was occasional? Sammy's face changed. Her voice dropped. You don't do that, do you? She's young. Attractive, Darren said coolly. I was attractive too. Until I had your kids, Sammy snapped. So what? Because I'm not as slim, you'd cheat with Tammy. Sammy, he said, eyes softening. One day she won't be beautiful either. Then maybe I'll be faithful again. Sammy's eyes welled with tears. I'm sorry, Darren said, his voice breaking. I love you. I've never cheated. You're still the most beautiful woman in the world to me. But I needed you to feel what your dad felt. It's worse for him. Because it wasn't just one night, it was years. I'm sorry, Dad, Sammy whispered. I listened to Mom too much. She made it sound not that bad. I just wanted to be there for her. You gave her a second chance when she ended it. You didn't punish her or shame her. But she couldn't let him go. Can you imagine naming your grandson after the man your wife had an affair with? Darren added, she either doesn't respect your dad, or she thinks he's too blind to see what that name meant. I think your dad has every right to feel the way he does. Erica fought the divorce with everything she had. She tried to outmaneuver everyone, calling me at work to say she'd found a lawyer and planned to bring his info by before her date that evening. You don't have to do this, Erica, I told her. Why interrupt your night? Just give your lawyer my contact info. I don't have it with me, she said. I just remembered to call. I thought you were at the salon, I replied. Should I tell your lawyer to expect my call in 10 minutes? Why? She snapped. Because you said you were at the salon. But Erica, you've always been beautiful. No one can improve perfection. There was a pause. I have to go, she said, her voice tight, probably holding back tears. Minutes later, my phone rang again. It was Sammy. Dad, why do you always make her cry? Isn't the divorce enough? What are you talking about? I asked, confused. Mom called. Then she started crying. I checked, saw the call was from you. I explained the conversation to Sammy. She went quiet, then said softly, Dad, she wasn't at the salon. And there's no date. I think she just wanted to make you jealous. Do you really think Mom's beautiful? I always have, I said. Her looks, her spirit, her warmth. Those were the things I fell in love with. You might not see it, but your mom, she's truly beautiful and full of charm. I loved her deeply. That's why Randy made me so angry. He threatened the one person who gave my life meaning. Then why not give her another chance? Sammy asked. I did, honey. And it was the hardest 5 years of my life. Every time she left the house, I doubted her. Wondered where she was going. Who she was seeing. If she could cheat from across the country, what's to stop her from doing it close to home? Right under my nose. I love her, but I can't trust her. Remember when Darren made that joke about cheating with his secretary? Did you ever stop thinking about it? Even after he said it wasn't true? Well, I don't have to wonder. Your mom really did it. Not once. For years. And it didn't end until I stepped in. If I hadn't confronted her, it would have gone on. Erica's lawyer pushed for counseling. Mine said I had to go. For the first 2 weeks, I barely spoke, just flipped through magazines. The counselor asked why I wasn't engaging. I told him the truth. You can force me to show up, I said. But you can't force me to care. No conversation's going to rewrite what happened. No session's going to rebuild trust. The divorce dragged on. 8 months, triple what it should have taken. Erica's lawyer scoured my work records, eyeing how organized they were, like I'd seen this coming. He found all the paperwork he needed, but missed the deeper truths. In the end, the judge ruled that since I lived in the house rent-free, it counted as a marital asset. He calculated its value and added it to Erica's share. The court ordered me to pay $400 in alimony each month for 3 years. I gave her the checks, claiming they were repayment for a loan, choosing to deal with the bank instead of her. After the divorce, I finally took my first vacation, a cruise. I stayed mostly in my cabin, keeping to myself. It was too soon to mingle. My second trip was to a ranch out west, but it didn't turn out the way I'd hoped. Too many men, not enough peace. The third time, though, something clicked. I joined the 66 cruise, a road trip from Chicago to Los Angeles along Route 66, filled with classic cars, events, and roadside parties. My Mustang became my companion, just the car and the open road. It gave me space to breathe, to think, to imagine the next 20 or 30 years of life without Erica. Even knowing I was better off, my heart still ached. But somewhere along that highway, I realized I wasn't just some broken, lonely divorce. I was part of something bigger, a community, thousands of people who shared the same love for the machine beneath them. At every stop, someone would strike up a conversation. "Hey buddy, that Mustang is gorgeous," an older guy said. "I had one before I went to Corvettes. What's it got under the hood?" I heard that a lot. Strangers turned into friends over shared horsepower and chrome. Some debated whether foreign cars even belonged on Route 66. I told them, "Cars are cars. There's room for everyone." Most nodded. One older guy joked we should all unite against motorcyclists. I laughed and steered clear of that one. I also met some women, car lovers with grit and stories of their own. One told me she divorced her husband after he tried to claim her '69 Camaro. Friends caught her under the hood, wrench in hand, and he was so embarrassed, he told her to choose him or the car. She chose the car. I connected with a few women who felt like future friends. I wasn't ready to replace Erica, but it opened my eyes. Life wasn't over. Maybe love wasn't either. When I got home, I felt different, lighter, more grounded, and more in love with my Mustang than ever before. Then I saw her, Erica, at a mutual friend's wedding. The sight stopped me cold. She looked frail, thinner than I remembered. Her hairstyle was severe, her eyes tired and dim. "Go say something nice to her, Dad," Sammy whispered, nudging me. "Then I need to ask you a favor." I crossed the room. "Hi, Erica," I said gently. "You've lost weight. Is this a new hairstyle?" She turned, startled, but her face lit up like sunlight breaking through clouds. "Do you like it?" she asked, almost shyly. I didn't want to get lazy or out of shape. "You've always been beautiful to me," I said. "Focus on what makes you feel good," I told her gently. "Your long hair always framed your face. It brought out your best features. Your eyes, your dimples." Her smile returned, soft and familiar. "And you don't need to diet. Forget the trends. Whoever comes next will agree. Women with curves are better. Go have a burger." As I walked away, I could feel her eyes following me. She looked stunned, caught between surprise and something else, something warmer. She watched me the rest of the night. The next day, Sammy called. "Dad, you were amazing at the wedding," she said. "Mom seemed happier than she's been in a long time. She even ate a full meal." She said, "Maybe your dad will like me better if I have curves again." "What did you tell her?" "I just told her she's beautiful," I said. "That she doesn't need to worry about dieting. She's 50, same as me. Thin doesn't mean better." "Whatever, Dad," Sammy laughed. "Actually, I need your help. But don't worry, it's not about Mom. I have a friend who's struggling in algebra and trig. You were a great tutor back when I was in school. Don't they have tutors for that?" I asked. "She works nights. Can't make the sessions. Her name's Shelley. She's unique. Please just try. Besides, you don't have a whole lot going on." so I agreed to meet her friend. Shelley had red hair, and at first glance, I thought she looked heavy. Sammy had mentioned she had a condition and battled low self-esteem. She was quiet, unsure of herself, but kind. We met on a warm day at a Starbucks downtown. She brought her textbook, and I dove into the chapter she struggled with. It became clear quickly. She didn't just need help with this chapter. She was lost in the earlier ones too. I suggested we rewind a few chapters, build her foundation before tackling the new material. She agreed. We planned several sessions throughout the week. Something shifted after that. She started to really enjoy our time together, and I started to wonder what it was that made her so guarded, what this condition really meant for her. The next few sessions passed quickly. Still at Starbucks, still buried in equations and frustrated sighs. But each time, we grew more at ease with each other. I caught myself drifting off mid-explanation, lost in her eyes without realizing it. Then one Thursday afternoon, I asked, "Would you want to study at my house?" The weather was warming, and I offered a Saturday, 2 sessions in one day, before her shift. Easier, more comfortable, no need for a coat. She looked at me for a moment, then smiled. "I'd really like to study at your house," she said. "Not sure about the coat, though." I smiled back. "I wear it for your safety, and mine, Shelley." "I'd never make you feel uncomfortable," I said. "You know that by now. You can't control how you were born." She laughed lightly. "Physical conditions are nothing to be ashamed of. But who told you I'm deformed?" "Sammy," I replied. She said, "Mr. Forrest," Sammy was joking. "I'm not actually deformed. Unless you choose to see it that way. I guess I'm just heavy. That's all." "Then there's no problem," I said without hesitation. "Oh, but there is," she said, her tone shifting. "Do you have a computer?" I looked at her, confused. "Yeah. Google Mel Malloy. Watch the video." Her voice was calm, almost challenging. "I have the same issue," she added. "I'll call you tomorrow about Saturday." As she turned to leave, she brushed her hand against my arm, a simple touch that lingered. And just like that, I felt the weight of a dilemma settle on me. She couldn't be more than 30. A kid, really, compared to me. And yet, there was something about her. Something real. When I got home, the phone light blinked. 10 messages, all from Erica. Nearly a year had passed since the divorce. I had no idea why she suddenly needed to talk. The phone rang again. I expected her voice, but it was Sammy. "Dad, everything's messed up, and it's my fault." "Wait, what do you mean?" "Mom," she said. "Remember when I told you to say something nice at the wedding? Well, she lost it. Started eating again. Redid her hair the way she thought you liked it. Now she thinks she can win you back, and it's because of me. Dad, I don't know what happened between you two, but I think you like Shelley. I know she's young, and yeah, she's got some challenges. But she's a good person. Just, if you're not interested, be kind. You don't know what she deals with at work." I didn't respond right away. I didn't want to make another mistake with Erica. I was happy she was crawling out of that dark place, but I couldn't see myself with her again. Too much damage. Too many years pretending. And then there was Shelley. She fascinated me. I couldn't understand why she liked me, but she did. And she was beautiful. When we studied, I often caught myself staring, watching her concentrate, the way her eyes narrowed when she worked through a problem. Her smile? Disarming. Her lips were full and soft, and more than once I wondered what it would feel like to kiss them, or to simply brush them, just once. My life had become a strange rhythm. Peaks and valleys, silence and chaos. For almost a year, I hadn't spoken to any women beyond Route 66 conversations about engines and paint jobs. Now, somehow, 2 women wanted to be close to me. One I didn't want, and one I couldn't have. That thought echoed in my head as I sat down at my computer, still trying to make sense of it all. I typed in the name Shelley had mentioned, Mel Malloy, and hit search. A flood of results appeared, filled with videos, comments, and unfamiliar terms. Pog. I clicked a video out of curiosity. It was a vlog, a woman documenting her weight loss journey. She was attractive. Actually, more than attractive. She reminded me of Shelley, but it wasn't her. The hair, the face, different. Was Shelley trying to tell me something? That she wanted to lose weight? Was that the concern she didn't say out loud? If so, it didn't matter to me, not in the way she might have feared. I watched a few older videos and found myself stunned. The only person who seemed to think this woman was heavy was the woman herself. She had an incredible figure, soft curves, narrow waist, striking lines. The kind of shape most men would call perfection. As the videos progressed, her message shifted from dieting to embracing attention, revealing more of herself with each new post. Her views skyrocketed. So did the adoration. I wasn't expecting that. I sat back, surprised. Then the phone rang. I answered without thinking. John. Erica's voice said, sweet and familiar. Would you like to come over for dinner? Sammy, Darren, and the kids will be there. I'm making a roast. Just how you like it. Carrots. Potatoes. I hesitated. But I'd always told everyone I wanted things to be easy, comfortable, for the kids. So they wouldn't have to choose between us. Sure, I said. I showed up expecting a relaxed evening. Darren answered the door in jeans and a t-shirt. We caught up casually while the smells of roast drifted from the kitchen. Then Erica came downstairs. She was dressed in a nude-tone dress that skimmed her figure and showed off her legs. She'd gained back a little weight since the wedding, but she looked good. Healthier. Her hair was down, soft and natural, not stiff like before. Less makeup. More her. She smiled and sat beside me. The roast will be ready in 20 minutes, she said. Sammy's upstairs with the kids. Then she reached out and took my hand. Darren, catching the moment, suddenly remembered he needed to check the wine. Will we have wine? I asked, half joking. That set the tone for the rest of the night. I kept finding myself alone with Erica. She kept smiling, lingering. The food was incredible, better than I remembered. When someone's cooked for you for years, and then stops, you realize how much you took for granted. As I ate, I remembered the last roast dinner we'd all had together. The night Sammy's dry fries nearly choked us. The night Erica brought up naming our grandson after Randy. The night everything fell apart. After dinner, Sammy stood to do the dishes, and Darren joined her. Erica leaned in. Want to take a walk? Or maybe sit on the porch a while? If we were at home, we'd be out on our veranda, she said softly. It feels like another life, but it's only been a year. It really does feel like a long time ago, I replied. John, have you been with anyone since our divorce? She asked. Of course, I said casually. Plenty of times. Oh, she murmured, her voice dipping with disappointment. I guess I deserve that. What do you mean? I haven't been with anyone, she admitted. Not since us. I didn't even try. She hesitated. So you're just having fun, or? No, I said, a smile forming. I'm seeing someone. Her eyes dropped to the ground. For a second, I thought she might cry. Who is she? She asked quietly. It's not a woman, I said with a chuckle. She looked up, stunned. Then, who are you with? With you, Erica. I laughed. What did you expect? We were married for so long. I loved you so deeply. It's not like I could just switch that off and move on. It takes time to get over someone. Time to find something new. Time to create memories that can replace the ones we made, especially in those last years. Why would you want to replace them? She whispered. Because it was a good time for you, Erica. But for me, it was hard. I loved you more than anything, but I knew. I knew you were unfaithful. I knew you were lying to me. And I stayed. I stayed committed, knowing I had to share you. And in those moments, you may not admit it, but he mattered more to you. It wasn't like that, John. Never. She insisted, shaking her head. You don't see it, do you? I said. There was never anyone else for me. I gave you everything. I still would have. And I loved you too, she said, eyes glassy. I still do. I only slept with Randy a few times. He's gone, John. There's no reason to bring him up anymore. You're right, I nodded. So why did you bring it up? I didn't, she snapped. I just asked if you'd been with someone. And now we're spiraling into another fight. Like always. I think we should change the subject, I offered. Or maybe we just shouldn't talk at all. Let's just enjoy the evening with our family and leave it at that. Maybe I'll see you around. Tonight wasn't so bad. We made it through dinner without a major blow-up. That's something, right? She nodded, but her face said otherwise. Her jaw was tight, eyes brimming, holding everything back. It's a beautiful night, I said, gently shifting the mood. You know what would make it better? She asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. A cold beer, I said, keeping it casual. I was thinking, we could go back to your place, Erica replied. Be together. I choked, inhaling sharply. Erica, neither of the boys would be okay with that. And I doubt their grandmother would be, either. Why wouldn't I approve? She asked, eyes narrowing. I meant the other grandmother, I said carefully. After months of living here with that blow-up doll of a roommate you called Grandma, you better be ready for more than a kiss if we leave together tonight. I didn't mean you, I clarified quickly. You said their grandmother. She shot back, sharper now. Don't tell me you're thinking of moving in with Darren's mom. Her husband just died 2 months ago, and you never even liked her. No, Erica, I said evenly. I meant Grandma, as you used to call her. When Shelley and I get married, she'll be their grandmother too. Silence. Both Erica and Sammy stared at me, stunned. But Dad, Sammy said slowly, Shelley's barely older than me. She can't be my stepmother. The reason I introduced you two was because you both needed someone to talk to. It wasn't supposed to be permanent. Well, you did more than introduce us, I said. You helped me find the woman I love. Shelley and I are committed, and we're going to be parents, so congratulations. Sammy, you're going to have a little sibling. The boys will have a new aunt or uncle. I turned to Erica. And you? Well, I don't know what that makes you. Maybe their ex-grandmother? Step-grandmother, perhaps. We'll figure it out. Is this revenge? Erica asked, sitting upright, her voice rising. Is that what this is? You never went after me for what happened with Randy. You beat him, but never retaliated against me. And now you get this girl pregnant just to hurt me? Just to make me feel the pain you think I caused? She raised her voice further. Do you even realize how serious this is? You're tied to her now, at least until that child's grown. Was your revenge really worth that? Erica, I said firmly, stop making this about you. When I found out about you and Randy, yes, I fought him. And that wasn't all. I handled the rest, quietly. At the time, I thought I was after revenge. But it left me feeling hollow. When Randy died, I wondered if I had blamed the wrong person. He didn't betray me. You did. He never made promises to love and honor me. You did. I couldn't hit you. I couldn't lash out. But I couldn't stay married to someone I didn't trust. The divorce, that wasn't revenge. It was survival. It took me a long time to see the truth, that what I was expressing wasn't anger. It was heartbreak. It was longing. And with Shelley, I found the love I was missing. I'm glad you're doing better, Erica. But if this whole thing, this hospital visit, was a setup to get us back together, it was pointless. But you're both welcome at the wedding. I walked out feeling lighter than I had in years. As the door closed behind me, I heard them start arguing about who would cover the hospital bill. Didn't matter. I knew one thing for certain. It wasn't going to be me.